Well, good morning and welcome to the April 28th meeting of the MAPS 3 Citizens Advisory Board. We have a full agenda, and Carol, I believe we have a quorum. Do you agree? Thank you. With that, then, let's call the meeting to order. You have before you the minutes of the March 24th meeting of the Citizens Advisory Board. Are there additions or corrections?
Move approval.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The minutes are approved. We have also in item 3 the minutes of the March 31st meeting of the Citizens Advisory Board, where we met for the construction tour of the MAPS 3 River Sport Rapids venue. Are there additions or corrections to those minutes? It's been moved that we approve them. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those minutes as well. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The minutes are approved. We're now ready to take up the MAPS 3 revenue and expenditure report and the budget and obligation report for the period ending March the 31st. David?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you said, we have MAPS 3 revenue expenditure report for the period ending March 31st, 2016. On the revenue side for the month, we have $8,334,528. For the fiscal year, $83,757,753. And for total program revenue, $612,082,325. On the expenditure side for the month, $7,705,058. I usually like to hit the high points on this. Convention Center has a lot of land acquisition and design work. The fairgrounds is fully under construction, so that's the major expenses in there. Health and wellness is in, the design is complete on the second one, but fully in construction on the first wellness center. And then the river has the whitewater facility fully under construction, actually completed. And on for the fiscal year, on the expenditure side, $64,228,475. For total program expenditures of $179,192,779. Then you also have the budget and obligations report for that same period, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Michael?
Move approval.
Michael Adams has moved approval. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded that we receive the report. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The report is officially received. That brings us to item 5 on the agenda. This is a resolution regarding the Convention Center. David?
Thank you. Item 5 is recommended resolution approving MAPS 3 Convention Center Conceptual Design Report, Project M3-C003. As you know, we've been working really hard on the conceptual design of the Convention Center, and this board saw a preview of that last month. So what we have today is the final report on the conceptual design of the Convention Center. So we have Todd Voth and the Populous team here today to present that to us.
Great. David, should we mention now that you have at your place an amended resolution, not the resolution that was in your packet, but one that was amended at the subcommittee meeting? If you just put that in front of you as Todd makes his report. Todd?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors. We're very excited to present today the conceptual design. We've had, of course, a number of opportunities to work with the MAPS group and also the subcommittee, and we've got a number of comments from everyone, and those have been incorporated, notwithstanding yesterday as well. We've got a number of good comments yesterday, and as part of the overall design process, we will continue to refine as we go forward. But it's been a lot of good work. I think it's safe to say we're very excited about your future and the prospect of a terrific convention center, and we're looking forward to the next phase. So I'm going to have Adam Polich come up now, and Adam's our lead designer for the project, and he will present the concept design, and feel free to ask any questions as you go. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Adam.
It's good to see some of you again. It's exciting. I feel like we're really getting to know each other. So Just to reiterate what Todd said, this is a really exciting time. We feel that we're in a really good place with the design. Obviously, we'll continue moving forward through the design process, obviously taking all of your comments and considerations as we go forward. So, you've seen a lot the last time we were here, and this is just kind of a quick recap of a little bit of progress that we made and what we've gone through the conceptual design process. So it's important to us, at Populous, we're very adamant about mining information, especially within the convention industry and convention and meeting industry. And we've been, using this data since about 2003, and we have about 10 years of backlog, kind of experience audits on the future of the convention industry. And, we've gone from more of a facility-oriented design, making sure the building works, to a more hospitality and experiential focus. So these descriptors on your right, those are the main focuses of how we're going to really deliver a first-class, hospitable, experiential experience in the convention center. So we always just keep these in mind and making sure that we're checking all the boxes for the future of the Oklahoma City Convention Center. Through our research, specifically for this project, we thought it was important to really view some case studies of some premier convention centers, not only in the United States, but also around the globe. And these are facilities that we see that the Oklahoma City Convention Center is going to be, competitors and direct comparisons to. And, there's a few aspects of these that we think are important to take into consideration for the design of this. And obviously a unique identity, scale, flexibility and adaptability, technology, a new construction. It's unique that we have a new building here in Oklahoma City. We need to use that to our advantage. Obviously high design, and then urban integration. So these are all very important things that we've worked on, again, all over the world, and we fully plan on incorporating these into the design of this facility. This is the parting shot of this slide. This is our design process from the North Quarter Shore site that we were also familiar with about a year ago, and we're now going to retire this slide as we move forward to the East Park site. And these are what we call our design principles, and these are simply a checklist of stuff that we use to make sure that we're staying on track with the design of the project. We will reference this list continually as we move through the rest of the design process. And I always want to go through these because I think that they need to be ingrained in all of us as we keep referencing the design. Obviously, a unique visitor experience. Oklahoma City is a unique place. I've been here for about 7 or 8 times the past 2 months, and I think I've seen every season already. So it's unique in that aspect. The pedestrian experience, there's a ton of work happening down there. The new boulevard, the streetcar expansion, obviously the park is a very powerful and unique opportunity for this facility. And just kind of making this building feel comfortable for the pedestrians around the site. Division of shows, the ability to never say no. We want this building to function highly and be the most flexible convention center around. Set the gold standard, if you will. Elevated ballroom, we've referred to the ballroom many times, and you'll see later in the presentation, as the living room of the city. And so paying specific attention to how we treat the ballroom and the architectural identity and scale that it deserves. Urban integration, connections to the park. We've had some great coordination meetings with the park design team and how we plan on the convention center plugging in and interacting with the activities happening in the park. Future expansion, the convention and meeting industry is always changing, and we want to be mindful of how this building can grow in the future. So just taking that into consideration as we lay out the program and the functionality of this facility. And then, development opportunities. In an ideal situation, this becomes the heart of the tourist and visitors district in Oklahoma City. So paying attention to what we have around the site and how this convention center can lend to future growth. So I know that we have memorized these at Populous, and so again, these are not going to go away. This is a little bit of history of how we got to where we're at today. This was a cold day in December. We printed out some 3D models, and we actually went through about 40 or 50 scale comparisons and size studies on how we could fit this building on the site. And so this is a snapshot of what we call, maybe 11 of our best options at the time. Those options then led to these 8 options, and this is when we started to interact with our MAPS team and our subcommittee and some various other groups around the city. So we led to these 8 options. We broke them down into functionality, rearrange, and organize. And these 8 options then led to these 3 options. And this was about 2 months ago. We had Panorama, City View, and Park View. These options were trying to capitalize on some of the key relationships to downtown, to the park, to the arena, and to any kind of future expansion that we have for the facility. We received great feedback from all parties with all of these schemes, and we ended on our final scheme, which is a hybrid of all these. So we took the best of all of these and tried to combine them into one scheme that we think is checking all the boxes. So here's our final concept. I'll just reiterate again that it says final, but we're still early on in the design phase, and this is a test fit. This is a costing exercise to make sure that the program that we're trying to deliver is within budget and will fit within the desired land requirements. So it would be really good just to kind of readdress what we're doing with the site. The key here is to allow the building to fit, we're going to have to move Broadway to about 200 feet to the east. It's going to allow the appropriate square footage and acreage to allow the building to sit along Robinson in between 4th Street and 6th Street. The streetcar, obviously, is going to be extremely important for the user experience as we experience the new park, walk to the front door of the convention center, and we want to make sure that that experience is first class. So right now where the streetcar is sited, we have about an 800-foot walk past the potential new hotel development to the front door of the convention center, adjacent to the Park Plaza on the northeast corner of the Robinson and the Oklahoma Boulevard. So making sure that that is a comfortable walk, a first-class experience. It's about 2 city blocks, so we think that is it's not too far to send some people to experience the wonderful park. So we've been tasked with some parking studies. We're about midway through this parking study right now on how many cars we can fit within the footprint of the convention center site. Off the cuff, we have ability for approximately 750 cars on grade, and the potential for approximately 800 cars, 780 to 800 cars above or below or around the convention center. So we're still working on that, but knowing that parking will be an integral part of how people access this facility. Building massing, it's interesting. I think sometimes we lose track of how large some of these facilities can be. So this is a simple site section cut along Robinson looking to the east. You can see the Chesapeake Energy Arena, and that building is approximately 108 feet tall. So our facility, right now as it's designed, will be approximately anywhere between 95 and 100 feet. So when we're talking about scale, that's the size that we're dealing with, arena-sized height. And we go to the next slide, we're looking at a park-sized landmass. So if you see the park here, it's approximately 2 city blocks wide. And in comparison to our site, with the relocation of Broadway, we're approximately 1.5 blocks going east-west. So this is just a good comparison on the civic scale that we're focusing on. The relationship to the park, we always joke at Populous, in every project we ever do, outdoor space is of key value, and all facilities are chomping at the bit to have ample outdoor space to host events, to get people outside for health and wellness reasons, exposure to daylight. And what we have here in Oklahoma City, to your guys' credit, is that we have an ideal situation with this relationship to the park. So the way that we plan on plugging in to the park is key. We have 3 intersections that we think are key that cross over Robinson. One is on 4th Street. That's going to connect our convention center pedestrian plaza to the plaza that's planned at the park. We're going to have a intersection across where 5th Street used to be, and that's looking more like a food service park experience connection to really connect into the food service and food truck and picnic groves that are planned in the park. So starting to create that relationship for guests to transverse back and forth between the park and the convention center. And then the connection on 6th Street is going to provide access to the Monumental Fountain and then that event lawn to the south in the park. And we start to see a really great relationship happening between that event lawn and what's happening in the ballroom. You can imagine events that start in the park, end in the ballroom, or events that end in the or start in the ballroom and end in the park. So that's the kind of relationship we're really trying to establish here. Just to touch on that, again, the ballroom and the event lawn, they're approximately the same size. So if you're going to have a 10,000 person event in the ballroom, there's no reason that there can't be a corresponding event that happens in the park. So really starting to focus on those relationships. Views are a great thing. We're sited in a really unique area in Oklahoma City where when you get up high, you have views back to Bricktown, down to the Skydance Bridge. You'll be above the treetops in the new park. Then you'll have some great views to downtown. So with those views being a given, we really want to focus on framing some of these views down to Robinson and what you're going to see when you're in the facility and how that relates to the activity along Robinson. We think it's going to be a really powerful corridor, and we really want people to experience that while they're inside the convention center. We received some comments over the past few months on sound mitigation. I think more of it are people just curious as how the convention center is going to interact when there's an event happening in the park. So we think we have a few things working for us as far as sound. The main stage in the park is actually facing away from the convention center. So sound travels directionally. So we don't think that that is going to be a huge impact as far as sound inside the convention center when there's an event going on. The sound that we would really be worried about is the sound along Robinson and the ground level noise. And there's a few things that we can do to mitigate that. Obviously, natural protection, landscaping, trees, planting, that'll diffuse some of the sound that's coming across there along Robinson. And then high-quality materials. We always take sound transfer into consideration. So using materials with high NRC ratings, noise reduction coefficients, STC ratings, the whole library of stuff that we can do to make sure that sound transmission is not an issue. And then lastly, we plan on having some dynamic curtain wall and glass to the west, and the use of laminate glass can really reduce that sound transfer from what's happening along Robinson in the park into the facility. So as we move through design, we of course will take the appropriate measures to start to mitigate that. Our project in Anaheim right now is right across the street from Disneyland. So all day long you hear roller coasters and kids screaming. And so we've done the appropriate amount of research there, and we fully plan on incorporating that level of detail here in Oklahoma City. Like I said earlier, I think I've seen four seasons in 2 months here. So we understand that the sun, the wind, and the rain are of utmost importance to really control this facility and protect it. So west facing is not ideal, but every building does have a west facing facade, and there are ways to protect it and to mitigate it. And so we've kind of called this slide our science experiment in ways that we can start to protect that west facing facade. So ideally we want visible light to enter the convention center, exposure to daylight, but we want to protect the convention center from the harmful UV rays and infrared light. Infrared light is what really heats up the space and provides an uncomfortable experience. So through a few mechanisms, we feel that we can really protect and provide that first-class comfortable experience that you would expect. Obviously orientation, low emissive glass, ceramic prints on the glass, architectural overhangs, which we're starting to already craft in our design, some shading mechanisms to protect some high sun from the southwest, and then trees and landscape provide a good buffer at a pedestrian and ground level. So we don't know what the exact combination is at this point in time, but as we go through design, these are going to be the elements that are going to make that western facade a highly functional, beautiful, and comfortable experience. So now we'll get into the building layout a little bit. This hasn't changed much since the last time that we've seen each other. Feel free to stop me if you have any specific questions. Currently, we're still holding the full program, the 200,000 square foot exhibit hall, the 45,000 square foot of flexible meeting space, and then the 30,000 square foot ballroom. So as it stands right now, we are confident that we can deliver this whole program within the project budget. It's been an exercise, but we feel pretty good about it. And so we wouldn't be showing this to you if we weren't confident that we could deliver. So the building is broken up on the 3.5 levels or 4 levels. We have a ground level, which is for our exhibit hall. We have our meeting room level 1, which is fully fully divided up with flexible meeting space. We have meeting room level 2, which you'll see is a unique feature of this facility, and then we have our ballroom level, which is what we're really calling the ballroom experience. And in this new section, you can see how the building really starts to stack up on a east-west section. So in the faint yellow, you can see the exhibit hall to the right. You see the ground level. You see that first meeting room level, which is approximately 26 feet in the air. And then you see the second meeting room level and the ballroom level as it stacks on top of that meeting room level and starts to cantilever over the new Robinson experience. So those moves right there are already starting to provide us that overhang and that architectural protection that we need from that western sun. On the ground level, we have 3 entries, similar to those entries that I described earlier with the relationship to the park. We have our 4th Street entry, which is what we're calling our main civic entry. That's for patrons from the hotel, people coming from the downtown area, the new park, the streetcar. We have our park entry, which is along the old 5th Street, which is what's connecting us to the program in the park. And then we have our southern entry, which is what we're calling our pedestrian entry. And that's where guests that are driving to the convention center, that are parking to the south, they'll have the ability to enter the convention center to the southern edge. As far as program, we've pulled some of the meeting room program down on this ground level. This is pretty unique because most meeting rooms, as I'm sure some of you have experienced in convention centers, are kind of tucked away in kind of dark corridors with no access to natural light. So it's interesting because typically your meeting room program is actually your most active space in a convention center. So by pulling some of this program down to the street level, we're trying to really activate that experience. And so even if the convention center is dark, you can still have activities happening in these ground level meeting rooms to kind of add some interest and some excitement. So what we envision is that these could be your everyday meeting rooms, rooms that could be rented out daily for smaller events, smaller meetings. So it's powerful. It's unique. You don't really see this too much, and we really feel that this is a great opportunity to really implement some of these new moves. So this northwest entry, you can see the images to the right. We understand that this is a great opportunity to provide that architectural statement for visitors that are coming to Oklahoma City for the first time and arriving from cab or streetcar or walking from the hotel. So just know that this will be the entry that has a lot of prominence, and we understand that this could be the front door for the facility for a significant portion of guests, and understanding that relationship to the adjacent hotel. It's approximately a 90-foot walk, so about a fourth of a city block. And then this is also the area where we will provide the covered, enclosed connection to the potential hotel as well. So there'll be a lot of activity happening here, and we understand that it needs to be treated with the architecture and the beauty and the scale that you would demand from a project of this size. We all know that the building needs to work, and I think Todd said something yesterday that money comes in the back door. So it's interesting. This facility will not be successful if the loading dock and the service and the loading do not function. So we've paid great attention on designing a functional facility from the loading dock inward and how we get goods from the front of the building to the back of the building. This makes some people really happy. Some people think this is kind of boring, but we understand it's very important. So, we're holding 15 loading dock bays, the ability for trucks to drive in and out. As far as convention centers go, this is an ideal loading condition. We've had the ability to design this from the ground up. This isn't a renovation. So as far as the way that this is going to function, we think it's going to be successful. Each exhibit hall has the ability for a truck to drive onto the exhibit hall floor, which is another aspect that is unique. So from an operational perspective, we really want this building to sing, and we want move in and load out for shows to be as quick and successful as possible. This is our second level of meeting rooms. It's about 26 feet in the air. We had some really great conversation with our subcommittee over the past few months on how we can really maximize this meeting room experience. So in this slide specifically, we call it Let the Light In. As I said earlier, there's so many experiences where you're sitting in a meeting room with no access to natural light, no access to the outdoors. And so what we're trying to do here is to pull some of these meeting rooms to the front of the facility, allow them access to the park, to the downtown views, to the open air. Obviously, the appropriate shading mechanisms will be put in place to allow these rooms to have blackout conditions. As we move forward in design, it's going to be extremely important for us to start to maximize this exposure to the park, and the city, and the western facade. So this is just a quick notion of, we've pulled a few of the rooms out now, but as we now move through the next phase, we're really starting to work on how we can maximize this for more of the meeting room program. When we talk about flexibility, it's pretty simple. It's just kind of allowing your rooms to grow and shrink according to the event that's planned for the week or the day or however long. So, for example, on this first level, we start to introduce that first level of flexibility, allowing 2 rooms to grow from 3,600 square feet, shrink from 3,600 square feet down to 1,800 square feet. So allowing that flexibility for these facilities to be customizable per event will be key for the number of events that you can host and sell to. This elevated bridge connection, we understand that it should be more than just a gerbil tube, a nondescript connection to the hotel. It needs to be beautiful, the potential for some program, maybe a restaurant or a cafe, or maybe even leasable space up there, and provide that cohesive experience from the hotel to the bridge to the convention center. We really want it to read as one cohesive first-class experience. So now we're up on the 3rd level. This is our second meeting room mezzanine. We're about 56 feet in the air, 48 feet in the air in this level. This is where we really start to dive into the flexibility of the facility. I have a case study to our right. This is our convention center in Anaheim. That facility was 2 100,000 square feet exhibit halls stacked on top of each other with the ability to divide those halls into approximately 36 smaller breakouts. It was a puzzle, it was an exercise, and we figured it out successfully. And we really want to implement some of that design that we achieved in Anaheim here. So what we've done is we've provided 2 10,000 square foot, what we're calling junior ballrooms. And what that does is it gives you the flexibility to have 2 rooms of 10,000 square feet, or you can fully demise those rooms into 4 rooms of 1,800 square feet with their own dedicated pre-function and exiting. So when we talk to people around the industry, and specifically some of our friends here in Oklahoma City, we understand that this is the level of flexibility that these facilities need to operate, to give you that shopping list of sellable space where you can customize your event to almost any kind of meeting planner's needs. Just above that level, we have what is, I think, the most important aspect of this facility, and it is the ballroom experience. Again, we don't want this ballroom to become a black box that just kind of sits on top of the convention center. This is our chance for that giant architectural civic statement, and we want to add an extreme level of flexibility and uniqueness in this ballroom with the ability to open up those front doors of the ballroom and experience that 10,000 square foot pre-function, and then continue that experience onto a 6,000 square foot outdoor terrace. So the ballroom is planned as 30,000 square feet. The way that we imagine it is that the ballroom experience as a whole can transform into a 46,000 square foot experience that is leasable, provide you the adequate experience and views to the park, to the downtown corridor. You can really start to be that unique event space that the city really strives to want or need. This is a quick little study that we did after we were here last time on how to maybe turn the ballroom more towards the northwest to give it a better orientation for sun protection. This is a quick study, but as we're moving through design, we already have some sketches out there that are starting to address some of these issues. So really thinking about ways architecturally we can start to solve some of these opportunities. And so, again, this is just a quick study that we did, and we would plan on obviously bringing back more detailed stuff as we move through the rest of the design phase. Expansion is extremely important. We don't know exactly what the market is going to be like in 10, 15, 20 years, but just providing that level of adaptability in the convention center so that when the city does grow and does feel the need to expand, the expansion can be done cheaply and cost effectively as possible. And so just paying attention to where this expansion can plug into this facility is extremely important for the future. we had some good discussion at our subcommittee meeting on Tuesday about how we really plan on programming the site and its relationship to the park. It brought up a lot of good challenges and issues on how we will circulate the site from a traffic perspective and from a parking perspective. So we understand that there's going to be vehicular drop-offs, meeting space, dining and retail, public areas, convention center specific areas. All this stuff is going to be on our site, and how we really start to maximize and design this to be a cohesive plan is going to be important as we move forward. So with the comments that we received on Tuesday, we think we have a path forward as we start to address some of these issues. So this is a quick study of some of the opportunities that we have to really start to maximize that footprint on the ground level. And so that's really all I have. Again, us at Populous, we want to thank everybody here, and then of course our subcommittee, because we've received obviously great feedback on how to really make this building better, and we definitely look forward to the incorporation of those comments and this next phase of design. So thank you.
Are there questions for Adam? Michael?
Speak a little bit again about parking. I understand there's, of course, on-site parking, and you're in the middle, as I understood what you said, regarding looking at the options for additional parking. You're really considering underground parking, even though the cost of that, I would assume, is pretty significant?
Yeah, it's interesting. We're really, if you envision a sliding scale, first-class hospitality experience over here, extremely functional and cheap parking over here.
I see.
We're really trying to adjust that scale to try to hit a happy medium. We've now kind of vetted out all the options for parking above the loading dock. We think we have options that work. We don't know if it's the best option yet, so we're starting to now look at the potential of going underground. As we address costs, building above the loading dock or a structured parking garage is quite expensive. So we think that there's some ways that if we go underground that we can start to mitigate that cost and make it more comparable to what we would do if we would do structured parking. We started working with, we had a good meeting with the Embark team this past week on how we can really start to incorporate parking around the facility. And I want to say that we're probably leaning towards a structured garage somewhere, but I don't really know at this point in time. We will definitely be addressing that soon because we understand that it's going to be integral on how this building functions.
And I assume, of course, it'll have budget considerations on what else, how that might impact.
Absolutely. That is probably the number one driving force.
Adam?
Yeah.
Just follow up on that. Is parking part of our plan, though? I mean, it's a study, but are we building it?
Parking is not part of our scope of work. We have been tasked to work with the city to identify where parking would go successfully, to best incorporate within the district and the facility, but it is not part of our building.
So it's not, the building is not part of the budget? Yeah. Thanks.
Other questions? Michael?
I hear the discussions about connecting to the park and all the pedestrian flow back and forth across Robinson, and also at times possibly having food trucks parked along there or trailers and all that stuff. And I'm reminded that Robinson is the main entry off of I-40 into downtown. And if that flow in front of the convention center gets restricted much, we could have a significant backup on the highway, particularly when they're trying to get to an event.
Yeah.
And so is there any looking at how to maybe divert that traffic along Southwest 7th over to Shield so people can avoid going right in front of the convention center? And because there's no place they can't go west across the park.
Yeah.
And if they're trying to get downtown, they don't want to go south. So somehow they've got to get north. And if Robinson's the only way, and the convention center's got thousands of people floating across the street and food trucks parked and all, I could just see that being a big.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely a unique condition, the way that Shields and Robinson kind of collect traffic from opposite directions.
Yeah.
So our main goal from the beginning was to take truck traffic, convention center truck traffic off of Robinson because of this experience that you just described. And now, since we feel like we've successfully addressed that, we're kind of on the ground floor of really starting to establish how vehicles and pedestrians will now start to access Robinson. And as you said, taking people across 7th Street to Shields is, of course, or 6th Street to Shields is, of course, a very real option. I can't really comment on specifics right now because we're still just in the ground plane of studying
On
it.
6th Street, it doesn't even look like it goes through.
7th Street, I don't think 7th Street goes through because of the way that Shields starts
Ramps
to
up.
angle up. Yeah, so 6th Street would be the natural connection at first.
But you're already at the convention center parking by then, so you're really not avoiding
Yeah.
the convention center.
Yeah, it will be a challenge, and it is something that we will definitely be studying.
Other questions? Adam, thank you. Then we have before us the resolution, and Carol, I'm counting on you to make sure we get through this in a procedurally appropriate way here. The resolution that was in your packet was amended by the subcommittee, and the amendments deal specifically with, I'm going to say, the next to last paragraph that begins, "Now therefore be it resolved," and it basically says that we are approving this subject to appropriate responses concerning actually the questions that you all have just been asking. Traffic flow, meeting room locations, and sun protection. And those were items of significant discussion at the subcommittee, and we were looking for a way to emphasize that as we move forward with the design. And I think it's also an indication of your interest from the questions you've asked. So that's the change, and we have this resolution as amended before us for action. So is there a motion?
I move approval of the resolution with amendments.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution as amended. Is there further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is adopted. Todd and Adam, I want to thank you for staying over to explain all of this to us as well, but I also want to publicly thank you for being great listeners. You've done a good job of engaging a great number of citizens and interest here, and one of our most valuable subcommittee members, Mike Carrier, is here today, and I know that you have met with him a lot and worked in his perspective from the Convention and Visitors Bureau, so I particularly appreciate you listening and working to accommodate all of the concerns and interests that we have. So thank you for being here. Mike, I'd offer you a chance to make any comment if you want. Okay. That brings us then to item 6 on the agenda, David.
Item 6 is recommend resolution approving amendment number 1 to contract with Brookville Equipment Corporation for the MAPS 3 modern streetcar vehicles, increase of $3,970,377, project M3-S005. If you recall, we approved the contract with Brookville, and that was for 5 cars with options for additional cars. And then we approved the additional route, what we're calling the Bricktown Loop, in there that needs an additional car in order to meet all the headway requirements and the capacity that will be within the system. So this amendment is to order that 6th car because there was a timeline that we needed to respond to with Brookville. Plus, we need to order it now so that we get it back in time. This comes from the subcommittee with their recommendation.
Are there questions or comments?
So I was not in attendance at the meeting yesterday, but I am very familiar with this. And so this was contemplated when we originally approved the Red Line route. So just procedurally, it had to come after we had the contract with Brookville. So this is comes with the full recommendation of the committee, as David mentioned.
Okay.
It's necessary because of the red line route. Is that what I hear you saying?
Right. So the
with 5 otherwise, 5 wouldn't be able to do what you guys wanted to do, timeline and all that.
Exactly. So depending on where you are on the route, as a passenger, you'd end up waiting an unacceptably long time with the addition of that track, without a sixth car.
All right.
So I'll move approval.
It's been moved that we approve the resolution for the contract with Brookville Equipment. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is approved. David, item 7.
Thank you. Item 7 is recommend draft amendment number 1 to the contract for engineering/consulting services with Jacobs Engineering Group Incorporated, MAPS 3 Transit Modern Streetcar Project, fee increase of $3,861,000, project M3-S07. It was put on the agenda as draft because there were still a few little details that we needed to work out, but there will be nothing substantial enough to change the amount or terms of the contract. I believe that it actually is real close to being resolved. This contract amendment is for the change in the route because of the location of the convention center. It also includes additional design work for the poles that will carry the catenary system and the wires, so that we don't have a forest of poles downtown. We want to do poles that are combination light and catenary supporting poles. So there's additional engineering for that. There's additional engineering services for inspection of the construction work that we hope will be beginning very soon. And then there's also some additional architecture and engineering for a canopy on the maintenance facility that the subcommittee had asked for. So it includes a lot of things.
Are there questions?
David, so we're recommending, or we're voting on the draft amendment. Does that mean once those details that still need to be worked out, it will come back to us?
No, sir, it will go on to council. They're not substantial enough issues.
Any other comment, Nathaniel? All right. Shall we approve it?
I'll move approval.
Been moved and seconded that we approve item 7 on the agenda, the draft amendment to the contract for engineering services. Is there further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. It is approved. Well, now for some happy news. Item 8, David, what are we going to hear about today?
Item 8 is presentation on MAPS 3 Oklahoma River Whitewater Facility, project M3-R004. This should be the last presentation that you see on the Whitewater, because at 2 o'clock this afternoon we have the ribbon cutting. I'm proud to tell you that it's turned out well, and we get to start using it here real soon. So Jeffrey Guston is here to show you a video that he shot of the Whitewater facility. Of course, you'll see it this afternoon.
Jeffrey, are we really ready for 2 o'clock this afternoon?
Well, let's just put it this way. I was hoping to bring Scott Shipley this morning to the last presentation, but as I told you before, once we have water, you won't get him off the course. So he's out there playing right now. Okay? But we did shoot the video earlier this week, I think Monday night about 5:30, so the wind started to pick up a little bit, so there's a little rocking on the video, but hopefully this will give you a pretty good aerial view of what you're going to see this afternoon. So if you want to start, we basically shoot the video from the west, from the parking lot. You can see off to the left, the job trailers are gone. We're starting to demobilize. Parking lot light structures are up now, heading towards Phillips. All the asphalt is complete, lime work, everything. We'll do a final clean here shortly, probably next week before the event. We got the bollards right there in front of the drop-off. The landscaping has been done out front. You'll see in the main entry plaza, you see some gray there. There's actually sod on that now. You can see our 2 runners down there in the foreground that actually were out taking a nice stroll Monday night. But you've got everything complete on the building. We've got 4 buildings on site. The main building is under occupancy now. Pump station's under occupancy. And then the 2 storage buildings, the raft building there on the right-hand side of the screen, and then the kayak building to the far east, are both still without occupancy. We'll have the raft building hopefully by the end of the week, and then the kayak building shortly thereafter. So again, you see all the landscaping's going in. We've got sod, mulch, trees down along the river. We're still doing some work along the river, so we've still got some vegetation in that direction. And then as we work our way to the east along the kayak building, we still have some concrete to put in. We have an access drive going along the south bank, along the conveyor, that you can see the rough grade work that actually goes along the outside portion of the channel around the kayak building and then back into Fifth Street. So we have a complete loop of maintenance access around the entire site. So then kind of turning back to the west, we'll just go back down through the channels. Obviously, they're dry right now. We just got done with the river guide training at this point. But we've been tuning the channels for the last 2 weeks. Everything is expected. We've had athletes out there for about 2 weeks training as well. All the gate poles are set, and a couple times a day they're out there still continue to train and get ready for next week's event. So heading back to the west, again, we're kind of into the sun at this point, so it's hard to see it, but you've got that large mound in the middle, which is kind of our spectator mound. You can sit on the north side looking at the rec channel, sit on the south side for the competition events. I guess the operators looking to bring tent structures out there for the upcoming event for the Road to Rio. Have different shade structures out there on the island for people just sit and gather and hang out for the day. And then lastly, as the water's rested here, you'll see how far it comes back up the channel, and that's essentially a retaining basin for the bottom pool. I think it cuts off here just looking back at the main building. I'll just say as we're closing up here, it's been a great project for us. We've enjoyed working with everyone here in Oklahoma City. I think the project stands for itself. We've had a lot of people always ask the question, how's it compare to Charlotte, right? We've only done this once before, and the athletes are blown away by it. We've actually had to tune down the recreation channel a little bit because it's a little aggressive, which we can do. We have, fortunately, we have the head gate in the rec channel, so that can completely go into an up position and stop all the water in one channel and can go down in 10-inch lifts, so we can control how much water goes down there. Mike Knopp and the operation team has been out there looking at different options from not just the rafts and kayaks, but we have what's called a ducky. It's a inflatable kayak, inner tubes, speed boards, a bunch of different things. So literally there's something out there for everyone, even if it's just coming out and just hanging out. So, take any questions?
Any questions for Jeffrey?
Do you have any video of you filling it all up? I mean, so that had the 2 routes that were
We
not
do.
filled up yet.
Yeah.
How long does it take to fill up?
The fill the course was 13 and a half days.
Oh, okay. So that wouldn't be a very entertaining video.
No. We have filled it off of 2 fire hydrants off of 5th Street. And it was
Oh, I mean like to pump it up. So you have
to actually fill the course when it's operational.
Mm-hmm.
It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get the upper pool filled completely and then displace all the water into the 2 channels. So about 20 minutes roughly. Yeah. It's pretty exciting, even with just one pump going. I mean, you can see the rushing water going through the upper
Powerful
pool,
pumps.
and it just keeps going up. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Well, I just say this has been a great project, you know, and I think the team, S2O and the construction crew and everybody's been great to work with. And David, you can comment, but I think they've performed very well. And we met some very tight deadlines to get there and pretty much stayed on budget, so I think it's been a very
You're
impressive
exactly
project.
right. You know, there have been challenges like there are on any construction project, but it has been a great experience working with Downey Construction and S2O out there representing us. So it has been a great project from a construction standpoint, for sure.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I guess we all are. Anything else? Well, I hope you can all join us, and Jeffrey's guaranteeing a great afternoon. Thank you for
I
a great
understand we'll
job.
be running rafts too, so bring your wetsuits.
Oh, okay, so we got to continue to trust you.
We'll have Scott be your guide. Trust him.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. That takes us to item 9, David.
Item 9 is recommend resolution approving change order number 15, MAPS 3, Oklahoma River Phase 3 Whitewater Facility, increase of $49,476.54, project M3-RZ04/WC-0817/SC-0912. Most of the items in here are small dollar items just for this and that comes up during construction. I'll mention the major items. Item 5 is $5,069, and it had to do with the code issue on the corridor. But the the engineer has agreed to pay for that. We have to have that in the change order, but the city will be reimbursed by them. Pump station roofing modifications, we have 12 inches of concrete on that roof, but concrete is porous, and sometimes it's difficult to determine how porous that might be, and what we've experienced is some slow water penetration through the concrete that has caused some condensation and some dripping off the inside of that pump station. So to keep that from being a constant problem, we have a waterproofing product that will be put on the roof of the pump station, and that's item number 8. It's $12,000. And item 9 is pump station wiring revision, $12,577. If you recall, we bought the pumps, we bought the conveyor belt, we bought the rapid blocks, and we bought the filters independent of the contractor because of timing issues. And sometimes when you do that, there are interface pieces that kind of get lost in the mix of, well, should we have bought that, should the contractor have bought that? So this change order covers some of those items that are just in between the pieces of equipment. It's $12,000 there. Those are the most significant items. And then on item 16, we have a credit of $2,700. So this went to the subcommittee. They didn't have a quorum, but everyone there recommended approving it.
Any comment, Dee? Okay. All right. We have the resolution before us for the change order number 15 for the river. Is there further discussion? Let's see. Have we had a motion to approve it? It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is approved. Item 10, David.
Item 10, you also have a corrected item on the agenda, and the corrected item should read, recommend resolution approving change order number 5, MAPS 3 Oklahoma River Phase 2, Project 2 improvements, increase of $16,481.68, project M3-R005A. We thought we were ready to final this, but upon our final inspection out there was a couple of things that still needed to be addressed, so we weren't ready to bring that to you for final, but we do need to cover this change order, and I believe the most significant item would be the speaker repairs from a lightning strike, and then the service point relocation from a transformer that wasn't located exactly where it needed to be. And this also comes from the subcommittee.
David, there was put on our table a corrected. Is there some change that we need to?
That's the one I read.
Okay.
What it doesn't do is it doesn't final the project. That was
right.
That was the piece that was taken out.
All right. Been moved and seconded that we approve this resolution. Is there further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is approved. Item 11.
Item 11 is recommend resolution approving change order number 4, MAPS 3 Senior Health and Wellness Center, number 1, increase of $44,973, project M3-H002. This is a project that obviously is under construction. The most significant items on here is grading revisions, and what we did is we changed the paving type from concrete to asphalt to save some money, but in doing that there were some grade issues. Typically on concrete you can go about 0.5%, but on asphalt, because it's not as easy to control all the small undulations, you want to go at 1%. So that changes the amount of grading that needs to be in the parking lot. So that's been calculated and negotiated with the contractor. And then there was item number 3 on here is roof drain system modifications, $24,000 to change the roof drain system. We questioned this extensively and found out that what happened is it was designed to code, and between the time that it was designed and put out to bid and the time that we got the building permit, the code changed. and it went to require larger pipes within a roof drain system. So now to meet code, we have to increase the pipe sizes. So this is a total of $44,973. It represents 0.49% over the original contract amount. This comes, the Wellness Center didn't have a quorum also, but it comes with their recommendation of who was present.
All right. Is there a second? Been moved and seconded that we approve this change order and item 11. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. It is adopted. Item 12, David.
Item 12 is recommend resolution approving contract and bonds with W.L. McNatt and Company, MAPS 3, Senior Health and Wellness Center Number 2, base bid only, $10,480,000, project M3-H003. If you recall, we had a resolution last month to authorize us to award to the second bidder, and that is what this contract is. This is the contract and bonds to award that project to the second low bidder.
All right, you have before you this resolution. Now, are there questions or is there further discussion? It's been moved. Is there a second? Been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. It is approved. Item 13.
Item 13 is also an item that has been corrected, and you've been given your copy, and there was typographical error in the item. So I'll read the corrected item. It's recommend resolution approving change order number 2 and amendment number 2, MAPS 3, Upper Downtown Public Park, Project 1, Public Utility Relocations, Street and Alley Removal, Oklahoma City Boulevard to I-40, South Robinson Avenue to South Hudson Avenue. Increase of $82,704, project M3-P0004/WC-0811/SC-0908.
Questions?
Again, we didn't have a quorum for the meeting, but it was the consensus of those taking advisory board today. So I move the item.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the recommended resolution relative to the downtown public park. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is approved. Item 14, David.
Item 14 is recommend resolution approving addendum number 1, MAPS 3 Upper Park Tree Package, and awarding and approving contract, Jim Cooley Construction, LLC, $608,750, project M3-P006A. So this is additional work that we have going on with the park. Not only do we have extensive utility work going on down there, if you've driven down there, you can see the mountains of dirt and rock that's being used for relocating those utilities. But now this starts with the tree package, and the tree package is to not only purchase the trees, but it's to store them and get them acclimated to Oklahoma weather conditions and get them ready so that when the park has been graded and at the appropriate time, the trees can be brought in and planted.
How terrific. Any questions? It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is approved. Item 15, David.
Item 15 is recommend resolution accepting the MAPS 3 Park Demolition Package 4, project M3-P011. This is the final demo package that we had in there. It has been completed, and we recommend approval, and the Park Subcommittee, the members present, also recommended that. Yes, $77,207.
Okay. Further questions? It's been moved that we approve this. Is there a second? And seconded. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Item 16, David.
Item 16 is a recommended resolution approving amendment number 4, Maps 3, Phase 2, Project 1 sidewalk improvements, increase of $2,187.50, Project M3-W002. This is a project that's obviously under construction, and it is just routine housekeeping on the items as we go through and construct these things. And this Project 1 is virtually complete, and you should be getting a final next month.
From the committee, Sue moves approval. Mike Adams seconds. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Adopted. Item 17.
Item 17 is recommended resolution approving change order number 4 and amendment number 4, Maps 3, Phase 2, Project 2, sidewalk improvements, increase of $86,558, Project M3-W002A. Again, this is another sidewalk project that is ongoing. This is Project 2 of Phase 2, and it's, again, quantity adjustments as we go through the field with either unknown conditions or situations that we see that need to be remedied, and it's just decisions that need to be made in the field. And this also comes from, recommended from the subcommittee.
Been moved that we approve it. Is there a second? And seconded. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. It is approved. Next item, David.
Next item, you can certainly see that we have a lot going on with trails and sidewalks now based on this agenda. So next item is recommend resolution approving preliminary report, Maps 3 sidewalks, Phase 4 improvements, and authorizing the MAPS program manager to direct the engineer to prepare final plans and specifications, Project M3-W004. We have Darren Scott here today from Guernsey Engineers to give us a presentation on the preliminary report for his sidewalk project.
Welcome.
Thanks. Good morning, everyone. We'll try to make this as exciting as the Convention Center in Rapids, but no, we are excited to be working on this, and we know how positive feedback there has been on the trails and sidewalks. So, for the last 3 months, we've been working on a preliminary report for the Phase 4 of the sidewalk projects. Originally, there was 12.7 miles identified as part of this package. As we've gone through, based on some of the existing sidewalks that may need to be replaced for ADA issues, we're coming up with about 13.36 miles of additional sidewalk. So 12 different alignments, ranging from about a half mile up to a little over 3 3/4 miles. The original budget was a little over $3.4 million. Our estimated cost right now is nearly 3.8. So we're a little bit over on the budget, but we've shown how we're going to break it out. As far as the alignments, they range from north up at Memorial all the way down to the south on South May. So they're spread pretty much all the way across the city. And as I talked about, the anticipated cost was slightly over, so we've gone through and we've broken out priorities based on one location, trying to capture the alignments that are together for construction efficiency, and then also looking at right-of-way acquisitions and trying to get the ones that have less right-of-way acquisitions together. So we've broken it out in Priority 1, Priority 2, and then a couple of alternates, and we'll go through on the next few slides showing those. Like I said, Package 1 is, they're basically grouped in the southern part of the city. Most of those are fairly straightforward with right-of-way. It's more suburban, so you have wider right-of-ways to work with. Just kind of overview on some of the different alignments. Southwest 89.85 miles. We had 2 right-of-way acquisitions recommended. And again, it's fairly wide, kind of a typical suburban street. There's quite a bit of commercial, so you have quite a few crossings. Southwest 59th is the longest stretch, nearly 4 miles, 6 right-of-way acquisitions. Probably the most needed as far as based on walking paths in the grass. and the longest stretch, so we feel like this one will be really beneficial, connecting from I-44 over to Shields. 6 right-of-way acquisitions on that stretch is fairly minimal. Alignment weighted rank number 50, it is on South May. We did have a recommendation or a letter sent from us from the Vine Haven neighborhood, which is on the west side of May. Originally, in the master plan, it identified it to be on the east side. And when you start looking at it, the Rivendell neighborhood only has a couple of access points out. And then to access the school, they have cut-throughs in between the lots. So the kids can access the school without ever getting on May. So we looked at the west side, which will connect several of those neighborhoods' access streets going out, and then they can use the crosswalks to get over to the school. So we felt like it was a good move to move it over to the west side. So that was done and shown in the report. Alignment or weighted rank 64 is another May project. No right-of-way acquisitions. It's fairly wide right-of-way in the residential area. So we didn't have any right-of-way acquisitions there. So that's a good one to put in the first package. 74th, again, no right-of-way acquisitions. Kind of a residential slash apartments, multifamily neighborhood, with a pretty straightforward alignment. Package 2 was basically the remaining alignments going to the north. They're a little more spread out just because of the, just what was included in the package or in our scope. They range from South Penn up to Memorial. Penn Avenue, this one had 4 right-of-way acquisitions. There's quite a few railroads. There's a switching station there, so there's several railroads that will be crossed, and coordinating with the railroad company will be something that we'll have to further explore, but that's probably the biggest challenge on it. Memorial, Portland to May, again, kind of the suburban area. A lot of new development going in up there, so we're able to use those sidewalks to connect to, so we've reduced some of the costs there based on that, and had 1 right-of-way acquisition. Lincoln, this was another one as we got into it and started looking at. When you get up to 50th, it turns into basically a wooded area with some pretty severe slopes coming down to the roadway. So we went ahead and showed in our plans the alignment going all the way up to right before I-44 to the north. But in our report, we recommended possibly going across at 50th across to the west side and then continuing it on up, and that would capture some of the apartments up there plus some of the other businesses. So we felt like that was a better use of that length. Plus, you have a lot of, with the severe cross slopes, you have a lot of retaining walls going along the east side there. So that drove the cost up quite a bit on that alignment. Northwest 50th, Portland to May with Lake Hefner in between. 6 right-of-way acquisitions. Quite a few encroachment issues from some of the parking lots, especially on the west side of Hefner Parkway. But we tried to avoid those where we could, but sometimes it's just right up to the road. Reno, 3 right-of-way acquisitions, Portland to May, really fairly straightforward, some cross slopes, but a fairly straightforward alignment. And then the 2 alternates, as far as the ranking, Meridian was number 42, so it was a higher ranked alignment, but when you look at it, it's very narrow right-of-way. We had 15 right-of-way acquisitions recommended, plus a railroad crossing, so we felt like the better use of the money might be to try to get the other ones first and then see where we end up on it. But right now we're showing it on the east side, and it's definitely a challenge. It's probably the most challenging of all the alignments. And then the last one that we showed as the alternate was weighted rank number 73, which was the last in our weighted ranking. So we put that one there. It's a fairly simple construction with no right-of-way acquisitions, but again, to fit it into budget, we left that off because it was the lowest ranked. So with that was a quick overview of what we've been working on, and we will take any questions.
Any questions? Thank you. We appreciate you being here today. Sue?
I was just going to say, just a comment, Darren, these, where we are now in our study, they're becoming more complicated.
Yes, they
So as we build more sidewalks, and this is phase 4, so we're really into the complicated pieces. And that's part of the deal with the ranking, too, so.
And some of them have fallen from the others, that they keep kind of getting dropped off. So,
Right.
And there's
Yeah.
reasons for some of that. So.
Yeah. I really appreciated the study. It was so easy to follow
Thanks.
for, me.
Thank you.
So I liked the route, I liked the pictures, the explanation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I move approval.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution. Is there further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is approved. That takes us to item 19, David.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 19 is a recommend resolution approving change order number 7, MAPS 3, Phase 1, West River Trail Connection, South Council Road to Northwest 10th Street, increase of $15,600, accepting the project and placing the maintenance bond into effect, project M3-T001A. If you recall, we've already accepted the southern half of the project. This is the northern half, and this will complete the project, and as it says, put the maintenance bond into effect and declare victory.
Oh, I love victory. Okay. Sue? any
Move
comments?
approval. And this is finished.
Oh, that's
Do we
great.
have any other projects that have finished?
Well, the
Like
lighting,
this?
we finished the lighting out at the river.
Yeah, but that's piece. So this is this goes higher. Anyway, this is another really big thing to celebrate with MAPS. So
Yes, it is.
we have the trail finished and move approval.
All right. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution with our congratulations to the subcommittee and all the work that's been done. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Congratulations, it's approved. Item 20.
Item 20 is recommend resolution approving change order number 15, MAPS 3, Oklahoma State Fairgrounds, Phase 2, new expo building, increase of $66,884.41, project M3-F002. This comes with the recommendation from the Fairgrounds Subcommittee. I don't believe they had a quorum, but those present recommended it. There are various pieces on this. Again, a construction project is going to have all these items, but there's electrical upgrade for a Creative Arts building, $6,897. There's actually a food service equipment credit of $47,165, and the reason is it was originally the installation was included with one contract, and that contract was canceled, so the contractor no longer has to do the installation. It will be included in another contract. The fairgrounds operator requested that the door hardware be changed on the coiling doors and grills for locking. And there's a small credit for speakers. Roof drain revisions that once we got out in the field and we're seeing those, we wanted to make some changes to those on how that they came down onto the pavement. There's light pole relocations, and then there's this geogrid material. And geogrid is a material that's used to stabilize the soil or the subgrade underneath the slab. And this was recommended as we got out there and found field conditions with some soils that weren't exactly where they needed to be. This can be placed in there instead of taking the soil out. It's an easy method to place this in there, and specifically it has to do with some of the electric boxes within the facility and how the real terminology is the overlap of how much you overlap onto on the previous pass. So I probably told you more than what you want to know right there. It just got everybody confused. But anyway, it's what we call geotextile that is used to help stabilize the soil. But again, this comes recommended by those that were present at the Fairgrounds Subcommittee.
All right, further questions? Any comments, Bob, from your subcommittee?
No, it comes, we're short of a quorum, and it comes with the blessing of the State Fairgrounds. Move approval.
It's been moved that we approve it. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is approved. That takes us to item number 21, new business. David, any new business?
We do not have anything.
All right, then move to item 22, the subcommittee reports. I guess we've heard something from about every subcommittee today. Is there any additional items that anyone wants to raise for today's meeting? Michael?
I am issuing a challenge to the rest of our subcommittee, or board members and the Whitewater subcommittee members to join us after the ceremony this afternoon and get wet. So bring your swim gear, wetsuits, whatever. And I think the raft's going to be available, and we'll have an opportunity to go down. So I hope we have a full raft.
I think that's a tremendous idea, and I have recommended Nathaniel Harding as my substitute. And it has to do with wetsuits. That's all right. That's great, Mike.
I don't have a wetsuit, but Jeffrey mentioned wetsuit, so hopefully it won't be bad enough for you to wetsuits.
All right.
I have a comment.
Yes, Sue.
Since Dee is, not Dee, who am I thinking of? Kim, since Kim is absent, I wanted to just mention that I've really appreciated what David's done in regards to the Whitewater and the videos and the updates that have been online through the MAPS office. And I think those have been really great. And I hope we can continue it, maybe with the park. And I think especially interesting is this tree package. So it's a great educational opportunity that if we could have a little blurb here and there about the tree package and growing the trees.
You bet.
That'd be cool.
Good point. Dee?
I did want to add that Mike Knopp told us that there's going to be national press coverage for the Whitewater on the 7th, I think CBS, he said, and Wall Street Journal and the Sun from London. So
Wow.
We're getting lots of coverage, and we really would love all of you to come at 1:30 today and watch Tom shaken not stirred with the champagne bottles and go through the river. So we love it. So we're really excited. And thanks again to all the staff and the committee and everybody for helping make this come true. This is so exciting. Thank you.
Well, it's the subcommittee's done a great job of marshaling our forces, and we really appreciate that as well. Mike?
Oh, it just occurred to me, I just wanted to say that Dr. Ed Shadid will be our next councilman represented on the MAPS 3 Advisory Board, and he couldn't be here today, and he wasn't at any of the subcommittees yesterday because he didn't know that he was appointed in time to change all of his medical appointments that he had scheduled above. So I hope and expect that he will be here next month. And, of course, Dr. Shadid is Ward 2, and I'm his representative on the board here.
Thank you. All right, that's going to move us to item 23 then. There are a number of informational items. They were all included in your packet. You've had a chance to review them. We, of course, can talk about any of them if you want to, if there are any questions, or David is prepared to outline the ones that should be lifted for your attention. Do you have any questions about any of the informational items? Any comments you want to make, David, in addition to what we've already seen here?
No, sir.
All right. Well, then take note of those informational items. They're all important. That brings us then to David's update at item 24.
At the risk of being redundant, there's a ribbon cutting today, if you haven't heard, for the Whitewater facility.
Heard.
2 o'clock. We just couldn't be happier of completing this project. Senior Wellness Center number 1 is well underway. Wellness Center number 2, as you saw, the contracts for construction were approved today, and those will go on to City Council. And then we have the RFP for the operator for Wellness Center number 3 is out on the street. I'm struggling to remember when that's due, but I think it's within 30 or 45 days, somewhere in that time frame. And as I mentioned, Trails and Sidewalks has a lot going on. The Phase 2 trails, which is I-44 corridor, is one section is still in design, but the other 2 are ready to go, and we're acquiring right-of-way on those. Phase 3 trail design is ongoing, and hope to bring you preliminary reports next month. Phase 2 sidewalks, as you saw, construction is underway. Phase 3 sidewalks, project 1 and 2, are also acquiring right-of-way, and I hope to have those out for bid very soon. Phase 4 sidewalks, as you saw, the preliminary report is in design. And we saw plenty on the convention center. The site acquisition is underway and is going very well. And upon approval of the conceptual design, we will continue with the preliminary design on that. Fairgrounds Expo building is under construction. Park, the design of the upper park continues, and as I mentioned, there's a lot of work going on up there with utilities. If you were to go by there, you'd see the impressive amount of work being done. And then, as you saw today, the tree package. And then preliminary design of the lower park is underway. Lots going on with the streetcar. As you probably remember, the track has been ordered and expected here in late summer to early fall. The streetcars have been ordered, and now, with your approval, we'll ask for one more to City Council for a total of 6. And the mainline construction and the maintenance facility are in design and are hopefully be bringing to you very quickly to put those out to bid.
Wonderful. Any questions for David? That brings us to item 25, comments by the board. I want to begin this part by saying this coming month, May, we will be celebrating our 6th anniversary of the inception of this Citizens Advisory Board. And there is in the planning stages an appreciation event for the volunteers that would include the City Council and the Mayor and the city staff, but it will mainly be to honor the volunteers. We all know that this has been a tremendous undertaking for those that serve on these subcommittees, and as we run through all of these items each month, we all know that the majority of the work is going on with the consultants and the city staff and the subcommittees, where all of these things are discussed in detail to make our meetings go smoothly, knowing that they all have looked at this so carefully. So that is scheduled currently for May the 31st. That's a Tuesday, and it's to be held, our current plan is to have it in the Boathouse District. I don't know whether there's an exact venue there, but my encouragement to you is to put that on your calendar and to be with us, but specifically to contact the members of your subcommittee, because after 6 years, I think all those subcommittees could use a little rejuvenation and a little encouragement and a little thank you for the great work they've done for these past 6 years. So if you're, as we wind toward the completion of these projects, we want to keep them energized and participating. So I would encourage you, that are chairs and co-chairs of your subcommittees, to issue a personal invitation. David and the city staff are working on the details of it, but it will be an hour and a half or something like that. It won't be a whole evening, but it will be an event in the Boathouse District. So hope you'll put that on your calendar and see if we can't say thank you to those 75 or 80 volunteers that are so important to this process. Any other comments by the board?
Tom, I
Yes.
did have a thought. I'd like to invite everyone that on May 19th, I believe it's at 1:30, David, that the groundbreaking for Wellness Center number 2, which is Southside Wellness Center adjacent to Capitol Hill High School, that Mayor Cornett has arranged for the Surgeon General of the United States to be at that groundbreaking ceremony. So we're, of course, obviously pretty excited about that.
Michael, I appreciate you reminding us of all that, but at your subcommittee meeting, we were all discussing, is it the 16th or 19th?
The 19th, it was changed to the 19th. I
It's the
thought.
19th.
On the 16th?
Yes.
Well, that was the original, but then, okay, and then, okay. Just kidding about the 19th then.
Well, it has been subject to change because of the opportunity to have the Surgeon General here. And as we trying to work with his schedule, I'm not saying it won't change again, but currently, it's May the 16th.
I know the Surgeon General's going to be here that week
Yeah.
because of a conference.
Yes.
So I think it's
Okay, well, we'll keep you posted about how that goes. Anything else from the board? Well, this is also a chance where citizens that are here that would like to make a comment are free to do so. Any comments from citizens? Seeing none, we'll move to item 26, and D moved that we adjourn, and it was seconded by Michael Adams, and without objection, we will be adjourned. Thank you.